Hey, I wanted to hop on and have a little vulnerable share chat with you guys today. No hidden agenda here, no like trying to funnel you into places. I just really want to tap back in because I want to share with you where I'm at and what I'm experiencing and how I'm feeling right now. Hi Camelia, hope you're well. And how I'm leading myself, because I'm in the middle of a lot of launches, right? Like I've got so many things going on at the moment. I've just got off recording a talk with one of our Legends Summit speakers. I'm booking people for the Empire Summit, and I'm doing speaker applications for Real and Raw Live, which is like all stretching the fuck out of me, quite frankly. And I'm actually writing a book behind the scenes as well. And that's actually what nudged me to come on and go live with you guys today, because I was just going through some of my old content from when I went in the void, so last April, May time, and I actually got the transcript of the very first live that I did on like day one of the void, right? Like the day one of Finding Claire. And I was reading through it, and I'm looking here because I've got it beside me on my screen. And the funny thing is hindsight is 2020, right? So I look back and I see my words that I was sharing and using before I knew where they were taking me and what they would evolve to. And one of the things that I said is this whole experiment is being more raw, more real, more vulnerable than I have ever been in my entire life, for the whole world to see, the whole world to see. And that's a scary thing. But I also know that as a line 3/6, that's what I am in human design, I'm meant to be a trailblazer. I'm meant to go first. I'm meant to live through the trial and error. I'm meant to have all of these hurdles so that you don't have to. And I know that that has been the story of my life. And so what was my point? I don't even know. But this whole thing is going to be an experiment. It's going to be stretchy. It's going to be scary. It's going to be unknown. I don't know what you're going to get from it. I don't know what I'm going to get from it. I don't even know. I don't know what you're going to get from it. I'm not going in with any intention other than giving you the courage and confidence to be able to be your biggest, truest self. So that is what I said before Real and Raw was even a thing. Those were like the words that came out of my mouth before the movement had even landed. Oh, thank you. I'm proud of me too. And what I want to tap back into here was, or is, the heart of that movement. Because whilst I'm growing and evolving, things are changing, right? Like as they do, like things change and structures are being put in place. And, you know, I've got like certifications coming out and, you know, funnels and systems and this kind of like strategy stuff, which has a place because that's how we really create more impact. That's how we grow things, with the structures, with the masculine container to allow the feminine to flow and be creative and expressive. So whilst those are coming in place, what I found was that I was feeling a little bit more disconnected with the heart of the movement. And so I want to come on here today and reconnect with the heart of that movement, to really show you my heart and to continue to lead by example and share what this whole movement is about. And what it's about is essentially freedom. At its core, freedom, liberation, truth, authenticity, wholeness. Some people think that Real and Raw is about darkness. It's about the failures. It's about, you know, sharing the lows. And whilst that's an element of it, they're missing the whole point. Because the whole point is that it's not about any one thing. It's about every single thing. It's about the full picture. It's about the transparency. It's about pulling back the curtains and showing the wholeness, the true reality of what your success really looks like compared to what others perceive it to be. And that was born because I was lost in the sea of comparison, comparing myself. Hi. I just want to call. My little one's off school today. Comparing myself to all of these curated contents, all of these highlight reels, all of these success stories about, you know, I made $9 billion overnight in my pajamas and no makeup on and messy hair. And it's like, we look at that and we're like, huh? Like, what am I doing wrong? Even on our best days, what am I doing wrong? Hold on. Tils, do you need help?
What?
Do you need help?
No.
Okay, I'll just be 5 minutes. I was like, where was I? And so what happens is we compare ourselves to something that isn't reality, right? It isn't the full picture. And so it's this false idealization of something that we can never achieve because it doesn't exist in the first place. And that really is what the movement was born from. It's of transparency and authenticity and showing the human behind that perception of success, behind all those smoke and mirrors, behind all the fancy creatives and, you know, the glorified graphics and the monetary wins. It's like, okay, but what's the rest of the picture? You know, what did you struggle with? Taster of homeschooling, right? Like, I don't know if I cut out for that. Like, part of me wants it, but part of me is like, how? Gosh, I keep losing my train of thought now. But it's like, when we're comparing ourselves to things that don't really exist, we can never live up to those standards because it's not real. And so the Real and the Raw movement is all about giving your audience, your communities, your people, a real sense of empowerment, a real chance of their own success, because instead of seeing a huge gap between where you are and where they are, what we're doing is we're bridging that gap and we're saying, look, I'm not so different from you after all. Sure, my external might be slightly different right now, but I still navigate things. I still have struggles trying to, you know, do things for my business whilst having my kid at home or school. You know, I'm still a human with very real navigations of my own. I don't have everything figured out. I don't have it all sussed out. I don't have any like magical blueprint formula that is going to give you the secret sauce that you're after. I'm just continuing to lead myself. I'm just continuing to fumble and stumble and learn from every wrong step and to see the redirection and to learn the lesson and to share it as I go. And that for me was such a big part of the movement, is sharing it as I went, sharing that breakdown, that darkness in real time was really the most powerful thing. Because as I was looking back at this content, and I've got it all on a document now because I'm working through it, what I noticed was the ones that hit the most, that hit my audience, whether that was from comments or, you know, DMs or whatever it was on the back end of it, the ones that really landed the most were when I was at my most vulnerable, when I was in the midst of the unknown, of not even the darkness, right? It's just unknown. It's just, I don't know the way out yet. I don't know the lesson yet. I don't know the answer yet, but this is where I am right now, and I'm sharing it because you may well be here too, and this is how I'm going to lead myself. And sure, I might not get it right every single time. I'm sure I damn hell won't, but I will continue to get back up, and I will continue to lead myself until I and that's why it's so powerful to share from real time, to show where you are right now and to say, look, let's do me. I'm in launches right now. I have mentors that say, you know, think about strategy every time you go live. Where are you sending people? And I'm like, I just want to share what's on my heart, right? I just want to share what's on my heart. I don't want to be shackled by all these constraints and all of these, you should do this, you need to do it that way, put yourself in this box, do it by XYZ strategy. I want to share what's on my heart. I want to show how I lead myself. And I trust that you will be able to make your own decisions about where you move into my world if you align with the Real and the Raw movement and you want to be part of that change. That's really the essence of the Raw framework. That's the heart of the Real and the Raw movement. It's not letting go of strategy because, like I say, it has a place, but trusting that your story and your vulnerability and your authenticity and your transparency and your vulnerability, did I say that one? Like, it's all enough in its own way. And so now I come on this live for no other reason than to share with you where I'm at right now. And where I'm at right now is juggling a gazillion plates, spinning them, wondering how I'm not going to drop some. Maybe I will drop some. I don't know. I'm human. It could happen. But what I'm learning through this process is that I can spin more and more plates without dropping them all. That I can actually have fun learning to spin these plates. And also, whilst I'm learning to spin more and more plates, I'm being able to help others learn to spin their plates too. And that's the power of self-leadership, of showing self-leadership. This is what I teach you guys in my Raw framework and in my one-to-one mentorship. It's how we show our self-leadership to empower others to move, not just inspire them so that they're like, oh, that's amazing, good for you, but so that they're like, wow, you have inspired me into empowered action. That's the difference, when they actually take action on the back of it. And so for me right now, I'm just sharing with you where I'm at. That's it. I'm not going to lead you anywhere. You know what I've got going on in my world. I've got all the different events. I've got my one-to-one mentorship. So many things happening. But you have to be able to know and to trust yourself. And this is one thing that I really noticed recently, is when I was sharing about Real and Raw Live in particular. It's an investment stage, right? Like, speakers invest in that stage because they get a lot of tangible benefits on the back of it. And I was actually attracting a lot of men. Now, this is a female event. But what I noticed was that the men coming into my world, they were like ready to go. They were like, what's the investment? How do I sign up? I want to be there. And I'm like, sorry, no can do. This one's for the girls. But the women were having a harder time in trusting their voice, in really knowing and believing in the power that they can alchemize, that they can transform any investment into an opportunity. I know, I'm getting like massages on my back. Say hi, Charles. So the women were having a harder time in really going all in on themselves, whereas the men were just like, boom, I'm there. And so this is like a really interesting like thing that is coming up in my world, is that us women, we've been suppressed for so long. We've had our voices dimmed for so long. We've constrained ourselves for so long to fit into this hierarchical, patriarchal, paradigm of leadership that says vulnerability is weakness, that says, don't get outside of your box, don't get too big for your boots, don't be too much for anyone. Who watched, is it Love is Blind, where there was that girl, I'm really bad with the name, so I think the guy was Ramses, and he's like, you're too much for me. I was like, what? She's not too much, bro. Like, you're not big enough to hold her. And so this is what I'm seeing in my world. It's like, women are scared of the power of their own voice. They don't believe that it's enough to make a change in the whole world. And I promise you, by looking at my own journey from this time last year, let alone the people that have come into my world, thank you, Tills, getting a hairdresser appointment, but from my own journey alone, it was sharing my voice. It was showing my vulnerability. It was removing all of the smoke and the mirrors, all of the barriers and the blocks between who I am and who my people thought I was, perceived me to be, that they saw me and they felt me. And that right there is what built my movement, which is now a global movement. I mean, it really is a global movement. Like, I have speakers from across the world, speakers for Real and Raw Life flying from the States, because 1, they align with this movement, 2, they stand for their own change, and 3, they believe in the power of their voice, and they believe in the power of that identity shift. I want to say like reclamation, but it's not even a reclamation, it's a declaration. The identity declaration of, this is who I am. I'm saying yes to this because it makes no sense, but I know to the core of who I am, it's who I am. This is what I call being Virgo energy. I love it. I love it. And those are the people that not just come into my world, but that lead their own movements and free themselves from their own shackles. And this is such a key part, right? Such a key part. How many times have you wanted to share something? You're like, oh, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. Not right now, because that will affect a launch that I've had. Everything should make sense to this launch. Everything needs to funnel to here. I can't confuse people. I don't want to lose my credibility. You know, all of these narratives. And it's in freeing ourselves from those beliefs and those, as I call them, shackles, that cage that we really trap ourselves in. You know, we built, it's a self-made cage, okay? Like, we can't blame anyone else but ourselves, because we subscribe to it. Consciously or unconsciously, we subscribe to it. The old paradigm of leadership. Authority is how you build credibility. Credibility is how you make sales. That's it. That's literally as deep as it goes. It's like, since when did everything just become about sales? Like, sure, we love money and sales will help us create bigger impact, but the sales have to be the byproduct, people. They have to be the byproduct, not the purpose. When I first started this, I stopped selling anything and everything because I knew wholeheartedly. I'm going to see if there's something in this post, because this is the first live that I did. I knew wholeheartedly that it would be so uncomfortable, it had to be the way through. So I'm reading, on my day 1 of finding Claire, of finding who I really am, of finding out why I don't even know at the age of 37, finding out what I'm actually meant to do with my life. All of the big questions, and I want to share this with you. So if you guys haven't read my post, I'm changing things in my life on Instagram, everywhere in my businesses, and I am just going on an exploration. I'm spending time really diving into who I am and what I want to do with my life. I know I have these big things that I'm here to do, but I'm not really sure what it is yet. Every time I think I've found it, it's not quite right, and I end up boxing myself in and then kind of starting all over again. So this page at the moment, for the foreseeable, I'm not even going to put the time length on it. It's going to be for me to share this journey with you and share in real time how I'm navigating this, what I'm experiencing, what I'm going through, what I'm trying to do and trying to figure out, because I want you to know you're not alone. Wow. Just knowing who that person was and the power that has come from me being brave enough to share from that space gives me goosebumps. And I want to share with you that no matter what season you're in now, no matter where you are in your business, no matter whether you're in a high, in a low, in the mess in between, which, you know, we all are most of the time, sharing it is what will set you free. It's what will liberate your soul. It's what will break those shackles. And there your movement will be born. Your movement has to be given to you. And if you've already got your movement and you know what it is and you've lived the experience, then sharing in real time how you continue to lead yourself as the living, walking, talking, breathing embodiment of it, that is how you move people to action. I love how relatable you are. Thank you, Camellia. And relatability is such an underestimated power. It's such... It's a word that a lot of people think we shouldn't be as leaders. You don't want to be relatable. You want to be an authority. You want to be a leader. Who says it has to be either or? Since when do we have to choose? I believe you get to have it all. You get to be relatable and you get to be an authority. You get to be a friend and you get to be a leader. It doesn't have to be this or that. It gets to be all encompassing. And so this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. And just know that I'm in the messy middle right now. A year later, after that live, I'm still figuring stuff out. Sure, it's different problems now, but I continue to share it as I grow. I continue to share it in real time. I continue to show you who I am, and not just what I do, but what I stand for. You know, what's in here, and allowing you to connect with that and to believe in yourself. Take some of my courage, take some of my belief in your movement, in what it is that you stand for, in your human, and borrow it and use it to go live, to share your story, to show up in a more real and a more way than ever before. Because I promise you, when you share with this level of vulnerability, of authenticity, of transparency, this is the thing that will connect you to your people. This is the thing which will have people not just saying, oh my God, you're amazing. It will say, how do I work with you? How do I get in your world? This is the power of it. And so that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I love you all. And if there's one thing to take away from this, remember, more real, more raw, more human than ever before. That's the new paradigm. Much love.